This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Countdown trigger, tell us for the shot of the day. Another round of a profile. This is on the way as well. Our question today: who is the person from your family that everyone will remember, and good or bad, what will they be remembered for? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Bob. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So my story is my grandma actually worked on the bomb that was dropped, Fat Boy.
Fat Boy. Which city was Fat Boy? I don't remember.
Hiroshima.
Hiroshima. Okay. And worked on it in what capacity? Like part of the assembly of it or what?
They didn't even talk about it. She didn't even know she was working on it until after the whole project was done.
Yeah, I could understand that. And but wait, so when it happened, when the bombing happened, did she immediately realize that was something she'd been working on?
Yeah, after it was all done with, they told everyone what they were doing, and they got a certificate and the medal and everything.
Wow. Okay. And what have you done with your life? See, once someone in your family sets the bar that high, all I could do is think, I'm going to fail everyone.
Right. Do you know if she was, did it affect her in a positive or a negative way?
That I don't know. She passed before I was even born.
Okay. Because I would think that would be one of those things where, if you know what you're doing going in, then you can maybe try to figure out a way to justify what you're doing, understanding what the potential of what you're doing is. But if you get to a point where you don't know that going in, and then you find the ramifications, maybe those don't agree with you, then how do you settle that as a person? I don't know.
And I don't know this, but I think at the time that happened, so
I would have a tough time with that one.
I think we say that now, but at the time, based on what had happened, Pearl Harbor been attacked. So you were under attack by a country. They say they're not going to surrender. All this stuff, whatever's going on in Europe, you still have stuff going on in the Pacific. And to a degree, I mean, you just dropped authority. Right.
Yeah. And you didn't know what you were doing.
Sure. Right. And you knew it was a weapon. I mean, look, if someone's making a weapon, it only serves one purpose, right? But you just realize that one was much more effective than anything else.
Who is the person from your family that everyone will remember, and good or bad, what will they be remembered for?
Hello, Adam. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
How you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. How are you? Other than the weirdo calls.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. I'm just sitting in the Costco parking lot waiting to go in. I can't tell this while I'm around people. So.
Okay. Okay.
Man. What are you going in for? Are you going to try the pizza, or are you going to stick with the traditional hot dog?
No, I'm not getting any food. I'm just doing a little shopping for the wife on my way home.
Okay.
Yeah. So the guy that we remember most in the family is my grandfather. I'm sticking with the trend of the grandparents today, but just because of how dirty of a man he was, and every little saying he came up with had some kind of sexual twist to it. And this one in particular I will always remember, and I don't know if he made it up himself or he heard it in a bar, but I've never heard it from anybody else. And anytime he started talking about his Johnson, or anybody's Johnson came up in the subject, he said, "It's as long as my arm and as thick as my wrist. The head on the end is as big as my fist. The slit on the end is as big as my eye, and I can shoot buttermilk 12 feet high."
And he would tell you this.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and keep in mind, he died when I was a freshman in high school, and I'm 31 now, so I was 14, 13 when he told me this.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a little bit. I pictured you like 5 years old, like, geez, you know what I mean? Like, holy cow. I feel like, look, even as a father, and I can certainly see it as a grandfather, when a boy hits that age, because look, man, and you know this, when you were 14, I'm sure every conversation with your friends had some stupid sexual innuendo, blah, blah, blah. I think on some level you're happy when kids get there so you can share with them all the stupid things you know, like that rhyme.
Oh.
Have you ever used his rhyme on your behalf?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course I have. What are you, stupid?
I tell all my friends that.
But you won't say it in that store with the other people.
No.
Okay.
All right, that's fair.
You exercise it properly.
Yeah.
Good Lord, man.
You don't want to lose a free sample.
That's right. Who is the person from your family everyone will remember, good or bad? What will they be remembered for? Even if it's dirty limericks, I think that's okay.
you know, a lot of grandparents say, "Oh, the dirty people," and you know, it's just a reflection of the times where everybody said whatever they're going to say. Mm-hmm. Then times change. By the time you're born, 2 generations has gone by. We've probably cleaned up whatever it was, and like anything, you're not going to change your ways. Because even when you say, like, look, there's terms you don't want people to say, there's new politically correct things. The one group of people it never affects is anyone like 55 or older. Right. Like, if they don't do broadcast news, there's a good chance they're not changing anything that they said or how they feel. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, old people are like kids. They can get away with saying that stuff. Like, kids, it's different because they don't know. But also, there's just a certain, like, I don't know. I had a weird run-in with, like, a 12-year-old on the street the other day, and it's just like, he's kind of mouthing off. It's like, I can't punch a 12-year-old.
But see, they know that.
Right, I know. That's the problem. So I tried to scare him, and he's just like, what are you going to do? And I was like, walk away angrily? The hell are your parents at?
Walk away angrily.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
So I'm saying same thing with old people. Old people say some really out-of-line stuff.
Yeah, you know, but here's the difference, at least with kids, you know, because they're testing a few things. I can look at them and say, hey, man, like, come on, dude, right?
Yeah.
And they stop. We're old people. If you say, come on, man, they're like, F you, I'm going to say it again. Makes you uncomfortable. Hello, damn it. Hello, Maurice. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah, so my story's about my dad. He had a group of buddies that it was the early 70s in Des Moines, and they'd hit the taverns. There was one little tavern they'd hang out at, and these are guys that were, like a couple of roofers, construction workers. One guy was a mechanic.
All right, so guys that can beat your ass.
What's that?
Ass kickers.
Oh, yeah. So the guy that was a mechanic, he was all tatted up. And back in the early 70s, that was scary looking because you either had tattoos, you're in the service, or you were a biker.
Right.
Right. So they didn't want to leave the bar. And the bar, they were a little drunk, and the bar wanted them to go. And they didn't want to go. And the cops came, and they all rolled out and kind of brawled with the cops, and they kind of won. But they all got arrested.
Well, that's not winning. That's not winning.
That's the downside of it.
You might have won the fight, but you're not winning at life at this point.
Is the problem.
No, and see, I think that was a different time back then, because it was basically like they brawled with the cops, and the cops were like, okay, you got us. You beat our ass. So they went to jail. And then they got out the next day, and it wasn't like.
Yeah, I mean, I
born in Frank,
kind of the
the
age old thing. This guy, he's not he was an Australian guy when I lived in New Orleans, Danny, and this guy was maybe 5'6", but just crazy. And we didn't know if he's crazy because it's the Australian thing, right, or if he's crazy because he happened to be crazy and he's Australian, but. We're at his apartment with his girlfriend and a few other people. We're waiting for him to get home. We're all going to hit the bar. He gets home. And he works construction, but he gets home and he's real excited, but kind of jacked up a little bit, right? Hair's a little bit. And we're like, what's going on? And he throws a pair of handcuffs, a gun, and a badge onto the coffee table. And we're like, what is this? And he's like, yeah, man, I get pulled over for whatever. Anyway, but the cop had asked him to step out of the car. So he's like, so I stepped out of the car and I decked him. Right? And like, that's his story. And we're like, why? And he's like, well, he told me to step out of the car. We're like, right. So why did you deck him? They're like, because he said, get out of the car. We're like, wait, explain this to me. So he grew up in somewhere rural in Australia. And he's like, well, look, if you get pulled over there, either you're going to get arrested or you're going to get a ticket, but there's not a lot of conversation. But if a cop there says step out of your vehicle, apparently it was understood that you're going to throw down. So this cop in New Orleans asked him to step out of the car, and he's like, dude, he didn't see it coming. We're like, he did not expect you to attack him. And we explained, said, look, man, that is not at all what a cop means here when they say step out of the car. You may have stepped in some deep S. So what I'm going to do is go back home until we figure out what's going on. I said, the only bright side you have, and I mean this, knowing how macho guys are, he doesn't want to admit that a dude is 5'6" just beat his ass and took his stuff. But I guess the whole thing was,
if they're looking for you, now going to be 6'3" and 280 pounds.
Right. Like, they're not going to be looking. But I was like, man, what you did, like, cross many, many lines. That is not what a single cop in this country means ever when they say step out of the car and then you stole his stuff. But again, where he was from, after your fight, you got to keep a trophy or two. And I'm like, man, everything you have is very, very bad. What you did, I mean, I can't explain to you how bad this will be for you if they catch it. Whatever your excuse is, like, it's not going to work for you. So, yeah, I let him hang out by himself for about a week, man. I was like, that I can't be around this.
Who's the person from your family that everyone will remember, and good or bad, what will they be remembered for?
Hello, Shelley. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola, Shelley.
So mine is my grandmother, and I thought I'd mention her because she kind of reminds me of how the past used to be more real than it is nowadays. Well, for example, the biggest story that I have is I was at school in middle school one day, and this is when I lived with her, and I had this god-awful feeling all day, and I kept trying to figure out what I did wrong. And so when I got home, my grandmother had my duffel bag that I used to stay over at a friend's house that weekend, and she looked at me and she goes, "Come here." So I walked to Grandma, and then she pulled out this empty pack of Marlboro Reds, and she goes, "What the F-bomb is this?" And I was like, I was holding it for a friend, and she goes, "Don't you lie to me." And she doubled up her fist, and she goes, "You tell me the truth right now, or I'm going to knock you out." And I was like, "Oh, my God, okay, I was smoking. I'm sorry. And she's like, "That ends now." But that's just one of the many. So I have so many stories of her, like 8, 9 years old back in the day, smoking cigarettes, working with her dad.
So she smoked.
She smoked at 8 or 9. And I know times change. God, man, my father used to threaten to knock me out all the time. And looking back, I know he didn't literally mean it, but the few times I get that mad at my kids, I don't say that because I'm like, see, man, if I say this, I'm going to get arrested. But that grandfather, Pop, yeah, he threatened to knock out Daddy many times.
Word is coming up, going to state slang, and the return of Who Sucks Less is on the way, as well as your emails from the men's room at mensroomlive.com. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bichola. You have entered the men's room.
Question, who is the person from your family that everyone will remember? And good or bad, what will they be remembered for? And here come those emails from the men's room at mensroomlive.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Oh, Macholas, my dad will be the one remembered in my family. He was a sound engineer for over 30 years and worked with some of the biggest names in the rock world, from The Who to Megadeth, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, you name it. He was also 6 feet 11 inches tall and was impossible to miss. Rock on, bitches. That from Wolfgang. Ola Macholas, my grandfather, will be remembered by my family as the colonel in the Air Force that flew the P-40 Warhawk in the Flying Tigers. He shot down a handful of Zeros while stationed in China in World War II. We recently found an attack plan that a Chinese general drew for him on the back of a Chinese currency paper bill. He earned his master's in aeronautical engineering well into his 50s and is one of the names among the fellow Flying Tigers on the plaques located in museums from Seattle to Washington, D.C., and even where he was stationed in China. He was also one of the founding fathers that started the USAA Insurance Company. Keep on rocking. Okay. And from B-Dub. Dang. Guys, for my family, it's definitely my grandma. Everyone who knew our family loved our grandma and all of her crazy weirdness. She was a tiny little old Persian woman who barely spoke any English. One year, on my brother's birthday, she was pissed off about something and decided to fake a heart attack for attention at a pizza joint. As the paramedics were taking her away on the stretcher into the ambulance, she had them stop and she yelled out to my brother, "Darius, save me 2 pieces of pizza. Pepperoni." Mind you, she was Muslim and couldn't eat pork, but still during her supposed heart attack made sure we saved her pepperoni pizza. She also participated in all our school films and was always a hit. People look forward to our videos just for my grandma. She was also on the front cover of the San Jose Mercury newspaper one year when she posed for our family's annual haunted house. She sat in a hand-built electric chair and was pretending to be electrocuted. The photographer was laughing so bad he was in tears, saying how rad our grandma was. R.I.P. Grandma. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm so glad we got to meet at Red Fest. Had a blast. That from Gian. I will always remember my Modesto Cali Uncle Lloyd for leaving his doors open so his horses could go inside his house. One morning at breakfast, one of the horses walked into the kitchen and hung out with us at the table. It was so effing cool.
Thank you, Uncle Lloyd, for kitchen horse memories. That from Little Miss Grateful Reckless.
I thought she was
Kitchen
going to
horse
say
memories.
the horse came in and slammed his penis on the table. Where's the biscuits?
Where's my hay?
Seems like that kind of day.
Guys, I work with a lot of assisted living communities, and yes, people in their 80s are having sex. It's also one of the highest areas of STDs in the country. Think about it. You got 20 women free to do whatever they can. If they're still doing it, they'll do it with everybody. Dealing with STDs has become somewhat commonplace in an assisted living facility. So you're trying to tell me
that.
if you send Meemaw off to an assisted living facility, she becomes a whore with an STD?
If she wants to, yeah.
All right, I'm down.
Well, it's a target-rich environment. There's a lot of widowers and divorcees.
Bam. That's why I hang out there.
Guys, my late grandma Katie is the one who will not be forgotten. In her life, her wardrobe consisted of one nice shirt and pair of pants for church on Sunday. Mm-hmm. The rest of the time, she could be seen in one of her many moo-moos, pronounced moo-moo. No bra or underwear, just moo-moo. There were many and very old, so old they were kind of see-through. So anytime she was in public, grocery store, restaurant, my school sporting events, you would see all of her. God help you when it was a nice sunny day because the light lit through her old lady and you could see the body. It was disturbing. But she was Granny, and all of us missed the jokes and dirty looks people would make in our direction as she strolled down the street. P.S. She was German, so there was nothing Brazilian about her. Oh. She was all natural. That from Jesse, the body.
Yeah.
All natural.
All do we have any comments from the peanut gallery there?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few here and there. Long story short, all you need to know is that grandparents are the people that people remember most. And in 90% of the cases, from what I've seen here, they were either dirty, they were still racist. But like you put it this way, they're remembered because they had no filter.
Okay.
That is generally what I got from this. If it is a grandparent, they had no filter. Sometimes they were funny.
I think it's amazing how they, like, for my grandparents, like I said before, like my grandmother was a salty racist dude. My grandmother was the complete opposite. It would be like, don't listen to her.
But somehow
right,
they
like somehow they
coexist
still
for
live
years.
together.
Do we have time for a few extra emails here for the men's room at mensroomlive.com?
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Older gentlemen and the lovely Wobbin, today is my daughter Serenity's second cutest's 10th birthday. Can she get a little kid fish sandwich and a can I grow up? And maybe a cut that bitch off. Next caller, please. Thank you, guys. That from Vern.
Fish sandwich.
Can I grow up?
Can I grow up? Sorry.
Can I cut
that bitch off? Next call.
Guys, it's my lovely wife's birthday today. She is amazing, able to frame and drywall and paint a man cave for me, all while still taking care of the house.
Damn.
You get that? Framed, drywalled, and painted a man cave. Man. I work a lot of hours and help when I can, but it's mostly her. Been a rough year. I love you, Aubrey. Can she get the dirty Germans talking about bondage? Love listening, guys. That from David.
Yeah, I would like to tie you up in my man cave so that I can visit your woman cave.
Yeah, my man cave is off limits. It's strictly an exit only. Because this bondage is great. The leather, the ball gags, the whips.
Whips.
Macholas, today's my 21st trip around the sun, and I would like a tall order of a Leroy Jenkins, an owl hitting the window, and a good old-fashioned original fish sandwich. Thanks a bunch, guys. That from Carter in Puyallup.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. Fish sandwich.
Macholas, it's my 23rd birthday of my buddy Matt, and I bet he would appreciate the Who doing the yeah thing, along with the Dirty Germans talking about the Wild, Wild West. Cheers, butches. That from Ted.
Yeah, I do not know much about the Wild, Wild West, but I do know tonight we will be headed south.
Yeah, the Wild Wild West was great for one thing. Assless chaps. Everybody was wearing them.
But big-assed women, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, guys.
Wild Wild West, also a great song by Will Smith.
Yeah, Miles is an assless chap.
Yeah.
He's an assless chap.
Yeah. No ass.
Yeah,
No ass.
yeah, I like the assless chaps.
No pants. It's flat.
Yeah.
I'm Miles Montgomery here for belts. You need to keep your pants on?
You don't have an ass?
I'm what you call an assless chap.
Hi.
Eugene England.
Are you one of the millions of people out there without an ass?
You know who you are.
Belts.
Guys, I want to wish my beautiful wife, Emiko, a happy 24th birthday. She followed me back from Japan a couple years ago and is now pregnant with our first child and loves listening to you guys on the commute home every day from work. Can she please get a "Your Penis is Too Small" German thrill talking about eating some fresh raw sushi and Aussie Ted doing the same?
Yeah, for sushi tonight, I will order the lady roll, and you will have the unagi, the eel.
Yeah, Ted from Melbourne here. Heard you talking about sushi. Two things I love about sushi. It's fresh, it's raw. Oh, and a third thing, it smells like fish.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Bitches, is my friend Brand, pronounced the photographer's 29th revolution today, and he would love a Leroy Jenkins and the Dirty Germans talking about photography. Thank you, guys. That from Starla.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Yeah, if you know so much about photography, perhaps you would like to take a look at my butt aperture.
Yeah, I like photography. The photograph is great, but I'd rather paint you like one of those French ladies.
Yeah.
Guys, today's my lovely lady's birthday. Her name is Sammy, and she's the most beautiful, kindest, strongest, sexiest woman I know inside and out. Almost nothing can bring her down. She was shot out of the baby cannon 31 years ago today. Love you, baby. Can I get the sexy Germans to talk about how nice that ass is? Appreciate what you guys do. That from Matt.
Yeah, that ass is so nice. You should add a third cheek.
Yeah, see, butts like that. Looks like you're smuggling Christmas hams. 2 of them, they're beautiful.
Yeah, and it's not even Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will be glazed later.
I want a slice of that ham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do fries come with that shake?
Hello, Macholas. Today's my 33rd trip around the sun. All I want is a "Your Penis is Too Small" and a little Aussie Ted. That from John from Carbonado.
Ted from Melbourne here. Heard it's your birthday. Hopefully you can get down and hunker down on some blue ring octopus. You know what I mean, mate.
Macholas, today's my wife Terry's 39th birthday for the 3rd time, and I want to wish her a very happy birthday. She's the most steadfast woman I know who enjoys everything life has to offer. How about a Suck It Up cupcake and the Dirty Germans? I would appreciate it, guys. That from Rich.
So, suck it up, cupcake!
Yeah, for your birthday, I will take you for a ride in my BMW. My big, moist Willie.
Yeah, of course. It's all calling some Willies again. Maybe you should just come by my house and I'll serve you a little Lebernugan.
Oh.
Yes, it's a liver dumpling soup.
And other organs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, here we go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Come on, let's drink and tell us where the shot of the day and the word goes to state slang. But first.
Now, the men's room wants to know, who sucks less?
Yay! Time once again for Who Sucks Less. Tina Hill. Every week you bring us 3 stories from the news. All of them suck to a certain degree, but it's up to us to determine which of these 3 stories suck the least. If you like the Men's Room on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed. And today we'll be taking some Florida prosecutors. They'll be competing against one random woman from South Carolina and then basically a bill that has been proposed in the state of Ohio. But let's start in Florida, where Florida prosecutors say they will not be charging a group of teens who taunted a drowning disabled man and recorded his death. They released this statement. They said the decision not to criminally charge the 4 juveniles and 1 adult for failing to help the 31-year-old at a Cocoa retention pond. You might remember this from last July. They pointed out that there's no Florida law that requires a person to provide emergency assistance under the facts of the case. Now, such a law was proposed during this year's state legislative session, but it failed to pass. But this guy's death received international attention after a viral video showed the teens laughing at him as he drowned. Now, initially, they said no laws are broken, but said several days later a misdemeanor charge for failing to report the death might apply. And I understand you are not obligated to rescue someone in a time of great distress. But I don't know. There's just something horrible about the recording it and taunting them as they die. To me, it's just a terrible, terrible thing. We continue. Let's go to South Carolina. A white South Carolina woman, she hit a black teen as she booted him and his buddies from the community pool and then bit a cop who came to arrest her for assault. This woman, Stephanie, whatever the hell her name is, she told a 15-year-old boy and his friends that they, quote, did not belong and had to leave the pool. Now, the teen was one of several children that was invited to the pool by a friend in the neighborhood. But after being accosted, the boy said he and his friends, they started to leave. But the woman, she started yelling racial slurs and then started going to the word punks. Kept calling them punks. One video of the incident posted on Facebook shows the woman in her one-piece bathing suit yelling, quote, get out, and then swiping at the phone camera. Get out now! And she can be heard yelling, there's 3 numbers I can dial. You ready for this cleverness? 911, okay? They'll get you, you little punk. Well, she did dial 911. The cop showed up and said, hey, man, what you're doing is wrong. These kids were invited. She yelled a few more slurs. The cops moved in to arrest her. She ended up biting the cop, actually broke his skin. But long story short, she was charged with 3rd-degree assault with 2 counts of assaulting a police officer. Yeah, just leave kids alone, and they were invited there. And now let's go to the state of Ohio, where I'd like to think that this particular bill has no chance, but a bill in Ohio would force teachers to out children to their parents if they do not conform to the, quote, manner of their biological sex. The bill, submitted by Thomas Brinkman and Paul Zeltwinger, would force schools, doctors, and care providers to immediately notify parents if any pupil acts in a manner opposite of the child's biological sex. It says, quote, if a government agency or entity has knowledge that a child under its care or supervision has exhibited symptoms of gender dysphoria or otherwise demonstrates a desire to be treated in a manner opposite of the child's biological sex, the government agent or entity with knowledge of that circumstance, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, basically, you can read into this. They feel like, look, if your kid, quote unquote, acts gay, they're supposed to report this to the parents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're trying to pass this bill through. So if you act the opposite, but that opens up to all kinds of stereotypes, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Are you whining? Are you whining? Men don't whine. Don't whine. I mean, like,
are you wearing two polo shirts with the collars up?
Right. So anyway, that's what we have today. We have it can either be the teens or the Florida prosecutor videotaped to laugh the guys who died. South Carolina
woman.
Okay,
you would wear those 2 polo shirts.
kicks the black kids out of the pool, ends up biting a cop. She lost her mind. And then the bill in Ohio that would, quote unquote, require teachers to report students if they don't conform to the manner of their biological sex.
I will say for a fact, I think the kids sucked the most because someone's life was taken, and they could have prevented that somehow. They could have helped. They could have done something.
They could have at least not made fun of it.
Anything. Just try to throw something out there. Whatever they could have done something. A man drowned. That's a life was taken. The South Carolina woman, keep recording people would be the thing that I was going to say about that, man. Because look, man, the hood doesn't matter anymore. So that's almost a good thing because you can identify who these people are.
Oh yeah.
So now that the KKK aren't wearing their hoods anymore, you get to just take a picture of it and then you can post it up and people find out who these people are. The only other thing about, and I'm not trying to be a D-bag, but I came from West Virginia. That's where I grew up. If you're in Ohio and you're gay, move. It's not that you shouldn't live there and you can't, and you shouldn't have to ever leave your own home and the place you love. But if you want to have a better life, if you want to go someplace where people actually care about you, respect you, and don't have those type of views,
but if
seriously, move from Ohio.
But these are the kids.
The kids can't move. Right. I will say, though, I still think the bill in Ohio sucks the least.
It's a bill.
It's a bill, number one, and then obviously in some parts of the state, people voted for these people.
Yeah, you got to get out of there.
My personal opinion, right? Like, I think this will have a huge backlash. I can't imagine calling a parent and saying, hey, your kid, like, I would imagine the parents are going to be pissed. It's going to be a weird interaction for a teacher, too.
I agree with you.
Out of these 3, I would say it sucks the least, and it's almost par for the course.
It's a bill, and it's a suggestion. It has not. The other 2, if nothing else, they've happened. They have come to pass. The bill, while stupid and infuriating, it's not anything.
You got bigger fish to fry, like the Browns. If you want to get on the debate on who sucks less, you can like the Men's Room on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live. All right, thank you, Steve. Word coming up, we'll go to
You're very welcome.
Slang, and we'll drink and toast because we really need one with a shot of the day. That's all coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day, but first, time for the word. All If you're ever on vacation in Hawaii and someone calls you shark bait, you might want to assume it's some kind of vague threat about leaving you in the ocean to die.
That would be my thought.
However, don't worry, they're just really insulting your complexion.
Oh.
Someone put together a list of the most unique slang terms from all 50 states, and in Hawaii, believe it or not, shark bait is a term that locals use for tourists who are so pale that they will attract sharks if they go in the water. That's honest to God what that means. So we got some of the most popular slang terms.
I will not be hearing that.
Around the country. All right, the term is chitlins, and this is from Georgia. What are chitlins?
Pig intestines.
Chitlins.
Children.
That's correct. All right, if I use
You're right.
If I use the term Hoosier, I am talking about
Indiana.
Someone who loves and is from and adores the state of Indiana. Ted, you're going to know this one. The term hot brown. Where is that coming from?
Oh, Kentucky.
And what is a hot brown?
It's an open-faced turkey sandwich with gravy.
That's exactly what it is.
I had no idea. All
okay,
right.
here's a crazy one. If I called you a roofer, I would call you a roofer in Arkansas. What is a roofer?
You're a fan of dogs.
Believe it or not, in Arkansas, if someone calls you a roofer, that's calling you a complete idiot.
Oh, damn.
In Montana, the term is cowboy up. We know this is something else now. Cowboy up.
Right.
To cowboy up means...
Toughen up.
Take
it
that last
basically
shot.
means adulting. An instruction to deal with a situation in a mature or adult fashion in Montana. Cowboy up, man. Come on.
That sounds cooler than adulting.
In Nevada, what if I called you a pigeon?
A pigeon?
Mm-hmm.
You're just a streetwalker.
I used to be in jail.
It's a slang for a loser who throws money at his losses, hoping to turn them into wins. Only in Nevada would a pigeon be a term. What if I said I want that Christmas in New Mexico?
I want that Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh, I want some red and green chilies.
It refers to the way in which you want your chili sauce. Christmas means that you want it both ways. That is
You're
absolutely
tracking, brother.
correct. All right. How about if we're in Ohio and we're hollering? What are we doing?
We're moving fast.
We're trash talking. We are trash talking. Here's a good one for the foodie in the world, right? If I'm in Tennessee and I said, "What's the meat in 3?"
What are the sides?
That's it.
This is my meal.
One
What do I
meat,
get with it?
3 sides. That's it. Meat in 3. Biffed in Utah. If I'm biffed,
Mad?
Pissed off?
oh, I fell down, tripped, or do something completely
you
embarrassing.
biffed it.
There you go on some state slang with the word. All right, Wobbin, have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and once again we head to the drink desk. And Steve at Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast a random dog from Michigan. Admittedly, this is stupid, but it's just the way this story plays out, all right? So last week, a 2-year-old kid in Michigan, he wanders off. His parents have absolutely no idea where he is, which I have to think is probably the most terrifying thing you can go through. He had escaped from his bedroom. Again, he's 2, so it's not like he knows a whole lot. He escaped from his bedroom, managed to open the front door to the house, and he was missing for several hours. But luckily, the family's dog went with him and stayed by his side the whole time. So the cops, believe it or not, were actually able to find them both by following the paw prints. Okay, just keep that in mind. They were looking at the paw prints. And the only reason we're toasting the story, aside from the fact that they found the kid and the kid was okay, is that the town that they live in happens to be called Paw Paw, Michigan. That's right, in the southwest corner of the state, it's about an hour south of Grand Rapids. In Paw Paw, 2 separate words, P-A-W, P-A-W, Paw Paw, Michigan, they were able to find the kid because they followed the paw prints. It just worked out that way. Police found the kid. They said it was a muddy, wooded area about a mile away, covered in bug bites, but the kid will be fine.
That's impressive.
Nice.
That is very impressive. I know.
What kind of dog was it?
They don't
It's a tiny
say
little
that.
dog, wasn't it?
It just says
smart
the
one.
family dog, but stayed with the kid. Yes, and Paw Paw. So they followed the paw prints. I remember disappearing on my family when I was like 3, freaking out, and to me, I just went on the walk. I don't know what this show saying, but I wasn't in Paw Paw. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bichola!
Let's get caller 9 in the line for a little profile. This 844-999-OLA.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.